All right, here we go. This 3 o'clock hour. Max Olson, theathletic.com, will join us just after 4 o'clock. And now joined by Chad Brendel. He covers Cincinnati Bearcat football, BearcatJournal.com with us. Thanks for your time, Chad, as always. What was the reaction? And I feel like most likely most everyone saw it coming, but what was the reaction after Tuesday's rankings were released?
A lot of people expected it or thought it would be something of that nature. I think, and I forget this every year, and then the show happens and I get reminded every year of the thing that makes you more angry than being sixth is just the way that they patronize anybody that's not in the club. We respected Cincinnati. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I'm going to walk around with the sound of Maury Povich, where he says, and the lie detector test determined that was a lie. I'm just going to play it every time Gary Barta speaks.
Oh, Chad, is there any feeling of encouragement that keep on the path and they'll be there because there'll be things happening in front of them? Or was that so much of a punch in the gut that you'll just have to wait for some kind of miracle to happen on that last night?
Well, I think here's what was the most telling, and I saw you guys had a guest on this week that kind of broke down the way that the corruption actually works, right? Because Cincinnati being at 6 isn't actually the problem. The problem is Houston and SMU not being in the poll or in the ranking, because now Cincinnati doesn't have any more opportunities on their schedule for quality wins or big wins, because they'll just basically at this point, the only way you can get a quality win is to beat somebody that the College Football Playoff Committee ranks. And if they don't rank them, they might as well be 103rd. Like, they could be 26th, they could be 103rd. It doesn't matter. So without the ability to beat Houston or SMU with a number by their name, I don't see any way without just complete chaos. I mean, I could see Oregon losing again. You've got to think Ohio State gets in. Does a 2-loss Bama get in? Here's what worried me about Bama, and a lot of people didn't catch this, and I've talked about it a lot this week. Did you notice when Gary Barta started talking about like what they discussed in the room? He said they had a really tough time working through 3 through 10. What does that tell you? That tells you they walked in the room. They said Georgia 1, Alabama 2. Now we can talk.
Yeah.
Alabama lost to a 2-loss Texas A&M. And they're not even in the conversation for third.
Yeah,
I'm worked up this week.
I'm
a little worked up.
No, it's just funny. It's because, they lost, yes, but they went to overtime. But then nobody mentions that they also lost to a backup quarterback, and and there's so many other things. It is ridiculous. What's kind of the feeling just in terms of not the playoff, but the way they played the past couple weeks? I know has got people maybe a little bit antsy, a little closer than maybe expected. What have you made of the Bearcats here as of late?
The biggest problem has been just this idea that both Navy and Tulane had. And if people watch it, like, they would have understood, they were just going to run the ball. Like, people, especially those two teams, and we'll see how it is going forward. People have decided, like, passing on Cincinnati is just a terrible idea. Like, you can't move the ball through the air consistently enough against that secondary to really be effective. So Navy and Tulane both said 4 downs, whatever. We're going to run it 4 times. And if we get a first down, we continue to move the clock. I thought Cincinnati could have done a better job on 3rd and 4th down at times in getting stops. But other than that, I mean, I think the offense pressed a little too. Like the Tulane game, the offense had 1 drive in the first quarter. They touched the ball 1 time in the entire quarter. It was a 99-yard touchdown drive, but that's not sustainable. So, I think they've just been a little off, and a lot of it has been because both of those teams said, we're probably not going to win, but the only way we can make it even, respectable is to just chew 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes off the clock every time we touch the ball, shorten the game, and hope Cincinnati doesn't get enough offensive possessions to do damage. I mean, you guys have been following football your whole life. How many times are you going to feel really good if your team scores 50% of the time it touches the ball?
Yeah, I know.
They scored 50% of the time they touched the ball against Tulane, and it's looked at as like they played a terrible game.
Hey, but Oklahoma's struggling. That's okay, though.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal.
Yeah, if you put Clemson's logo on Cincinnati's jersey and the same resume, where would they be?
Here's what's crazy to me. They beat Tulane by 19. The spread was 24. Like, that's right about where it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's talked about as if Cincinnati played the worst game in the history of the football program. Guess what? Tulane lost to Oklahoma by 5.
And had the ball late in the game. Had the ball to do something with it. Yeah.
And got stopped on a close 4th down play. I can count the number of points Oklahoma won that game by on one hand. But that, I guess, but Oklahoma's at 8. But the thing is, they set it up where, if Oklahoma goes undefeated, they'll have to beat Baylor. They'll have to beat Oklahoma State. They'll probably have to beat one of them again. And they'll pass Cincinnati because they'll have those 3 big wins. And Cincinnati won't have any because SMU and Houston are, in the abyss. The Fresno State's the one that really triggered me on Tuesday. There's only one reason a 2-loss Fresno State is in the poll.
Right.
Because Oregon beat them by 7.
Uh-huh.
And Oregon's only top 25 win all season was going to just be Ohio State because the Pac-12 outside of Oregon stinks. So they had to put Fresno State in, and then as a result, they had to put San Diego State in. And now Houston and SMU are out because giving Cincinnati juice doesn't work. Giving Oregon juice does.
And I'm taking SMU over those teams all day and twice on Sunday.
Yeah.
All
and
day.
Houston. I'll take it.
And probably Houston right now, too. Yeah.
But by the way, on the chat room, they're all saying you should run for president. Every one of them.
Yeah. Chad, I think Smokey just gave you the plan for Cincinnati. What you do is you tell them they need to play the next 4 games in Alabama uniforms.
Yeah, that's right.
This is
change the logos.
Change the logo and then confuse the committee.
Well, here's the other disappointing part. Because SMU's not ranked, Cincinnati can't even pick up a quality loss. They just had a quality loss.
Oh, man. Hey, we're always thinking about you in your family. And Chad, we wanted to check in. I knew you'd be fired up. And we will stay in touch, man. Good luck. Cincinnati has lost 1 football game in 2 years to Georgia by 3.
By 3. And really it was by 1 because there was a safety with 1 second left on the clock. That was a 1-point game. Georgia kicked a 53-yard field goal to go up 1 with 6 seconds left.
Chad, does it give anybody, I mean, I know right now it's not going to help in any way, but is this at least make that Big 12 eventual, entry to where if you're having a season like this, that's not going to be a concern? Is that just, it can't come soon enough at this point?
Yeah, there was actually somebody on my message board the other night that was like, screw it. Go next. Like, it's got 2022. Don't care. Yeah. Don't care. Got to make it happen right now. But what they did to Oklahoma's got to make you a little uneasy too. Yeah. Although that's a lot of Oklahoma's fault because they played like crap for most of the year.
All right, man. Be good, Chad. Thank you.
You too.
Appreciate it. Chad,
appreciate you guys having me.
Always
love coming on.
Hey, Big 12 brothers, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
Chad Brendel, part of that Chapter 1 with UCF, and of course Brigham Young and Houston and Cincinnati.
Okay. We need to do a roundtable when the final rankings come out with Brendel and Bartu.
Oh my God! And we just silence our microphones. All right, the chat room. A lot of you want to vote for Chad Brendel for president. That's possible. Since he lost to Houston is a very bad loss because they were heavily favored, but nobody runs circles around anyone like the Houston Cougars. That's from Eric. And there's there's so many people that agree with Chad and what we said yesterday and what David Bartu say. And then, you know what? I never even thought about the bottom of the top 25 until it was kind of brought up yesterday. Wait a minute. SMU and Houston, they're gone.
Oh, look at Mississippi State. Yeah, look at Mississippi State. They've got three losses, but they were good teams, though. But yet one team has Okay, Mississippi State's got 3 losses, but given the benefit of the doubt because of a couple other games they played. Oklahoma's penalized for just not looking good with a completely different quarterback and put it 8th. And you can go on and on and on with comparisons of teams like Cincinnati, for example. It's such a joke. It's such a joke.
It's part of Leslie Knowles theory.
But the propping up, I think, happens after, because I think what happens is they determine who their top 4, about the top 10 are. And then once they do that, they realize that Gary Barta's got to walk his happy ass out in the room and explain why. And there's not really reasons. It's just, this is what we like.
Why
That's
would you
the
want to be? Did they get paid? Does he get $1 million? Did Jeff Long, is that worth being known as an idiot or a conspirator or whoever it is?
Yeah, I mean, but they do. So then they have to be like, okay, well, so if Oregon's going to be number 3, then we have to make sure that this.
So we walked in and we had to discuss 3 through 10. Like he said, they had Georgia, Bama locked in at 1 and 2, and arguing not against Georgia. And Alabama might end up being right there in the middle of it because of who they are and how good they can be. But they've had their moments. Florida took them to the end. Yeah. Now Florida's off the map.
It never matters, though. No, it doesn't ever matter.
When we come back, Max Olson, theathletic.com, one of their national college football writers, 365 Sports. Pioneer still in pipe. How about this? 1943. I'm looking out.